Previously on my journey. 2018 was a year to remember. So I have a picture from November 22nd, 2018. This was my freshman year of college. I was living away from home, so I was living in dorms with a very social lifestyle, attending lots of parties. I wasn't exercising at all. I was only eating cheap and easy meals. I wasn't sleeping that much because of classes, and if I was sleeping, I would go to bed at 4 in the morning and not wake up until 3 the next day, which is a very unhealthy routine, and I was neglecting a lot of health issues. My weight in this picture was 170 pounds. Two weeks later, I decided that I wanted to change everything. To do that, I started going to the gym every single day. I limited my drinking to only on the weekends, and I stopped eating the meal plan that the school gave us. That lifestyle that I was living before wasn't too sustainable. I was going out every single night. I was going to bars. I was going to parties. I was living a really social lifestyle, and especially with living away from home, it made it very hard to stop doing those type of things. I didn't realize that it was going to be a long-term thing. I just wanted a quick fix. I wanted something that could get me to my goal weight as fast as possible, then I could just move on and go back to the way I was living. So when I decided, I remember exactly that day, December 2nd, I wanted to quit every single bad habit I had obtained in the past few years. The reason why that day hit me was because I was looking back at this picture that I had taken November 22nd, and I did not like what I saw. I know whenever you look at a picture of yourself, you can always seem to find something that you don't like, but I was just disappointed in myself that I had let myself go, that I wasn't the student athlete that I had been in high school anymore, and it hurt. And I know that people noticed around me, and I think the reason why I got to this point was because I had friends who started making comments about my weight and the lifestyle that I was living. I'm not saying that this was right of them to do this, and maybe I can talk about that in another episode, but this did open up my eyes to what I was doing to my body. It really made me think about what I had been putting myself through, the neglect that I had been putting on my fitness, the neglect that I had been putting into my diet, and that's why I decided on that day I was going to change my lifestyle so I could obtain this goal I had in my head, and I would do whatever it took to get to that. So fast forward 3 months later, I had been going to the gym every single day. I stopped eating the meal plan food, and with this new lifestyle that I had started, this journey, a lot of things suffered. My grades started to slip. I stopped having the drive to go to class. I didn't want to do school anymore because I was so focused on this lifestyle journey and my mental health. This is probably the hardest part of my journey that I will ever have to tell. But I started a very restrictive diet. I was going to the gym for 3-4 hours each day, every day. Obviously, my body couldn't keep up with all of the energy I was exerting and the minimal energy I was intaking, and I suffered. I started developing anorexic patterns. I stopped eating carbs. I had food rules. And then finally, the school year had come to an end. We all had to move out of our residence. We moved into a house. I started this restrictive diet because I had put on another 10 pounds from the summer. I did gain a bunch of weight back, and I was determined to lose it all. So I started this really restrictive diet where I would only have breakfast, or I'd only eat once every 4 days. And I was working 3 jobs at the time just to pay rent. This is where everything started to go downhill. So September 2019, I reached a breaking point where I started to have extreme anxiety. I was really suffering with my anorexic patterns at this point. I would come home from work and go right to bed and wake up the next morning and go to work, and I never gave myself enough time to eat, and even if I had time, I wouldn't eat. I was basically living on next to nothing. I began to lose weight drastically. I went from 160 pounds to 148 pounds to 142 pounds to 140 pounds. And then I snapped. I got to this breaking point where I couldn't take it anymore. I had to move back with my mom. And this is where I'm at now.